Yo guys, hope you're all doing well as always. Welcome back to another Premier League predictions video. I'm sorry that we're going to have to start on such a somber note. Do you know what? Actually, no, I'm not sorry, because it's your fault. A few weeks ago, I asked very nicely for people to comment their score predictions, and you guys did for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And now we're back to square one. I mean, I don't think I'm asking for much. Just some score predictions. Please. God, this channel is going downhill by the day. Right, before we get into this game week's predictions, I want to go through my predictions for last week. And essentially, I had another stinker again. I got my joint lowest score. This channel has honestly been run into the ground before it's even started. I got 12 out of 50, which is the same as I got the week before. And again, like, it wasn't shit, but it kind of was. I'm pretty gassed that I called Leicester would win against Man United. I don't think a lot of people would have necessarily called that. Couple goals out in the Liverpool game. I was a goal off getting the right result for the Villa Wolves game. I feel like I'm putting too much faith into Leeds at the moment, so I mean, they're just shit. But they've got some good games coming up, so they could potentially pick up their form. Will I keep falling into the same trap of bigging them up for them to only let me down? We'll see. Overall though, guys, I had an absolute stinker of a week again, and it can only get better from here. That being said, I said that last week and I got the same score, so let's hope that it doesn't get any worse. Now, the first game of the Premier League game week that we're going to get into is Arsenal at home to Aston Villa. First against second in the league table, when you put it alphabetically. After a disappointing start to the season, Arsenal find themselves in 12th place, and Aston Villa have sort of struggled to live up to the hype that they were getting at the beginning of the season, finding themselves in a moderate 13th place. They've picked up some impressive wins like the ones against Manchester United and Everton. However, the last 2 games they lost against Wolves and Tottenham, which isn't good enough for a team that ultimately wants to be pushing towards the European places. In Villa and Arsenal's last 5 games, Arsenal won 2, but the last 3 games have all been won by Aston Villa, which I think is important to take into consideration going into this fixture. Arsenal obviously managed to rescue a point in that 2-2 draw with Crystal Palace in their last game. That last minute equaliser from Lacazette I think will give them a lot of confidence going into this game, a sort of never say die attitude, and I think that's going to be enough for them to actually get the 3 points in this fixture. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Arsenal. Aston Villa have got the quality to potentially get something out of this game, however they've also had the quality to get stuff out of their last few games, but ultimately haven't. I think it's going to be a similar case in this game, which is why I'm going for an Arsenal win. The early kickoff on Saturday is Chelsea at home to Norwich, top against bottom in the Premier League, and I can only see this going one way, and that is a Chelsea win. Even in the games where we're not dominating, we're still managing to pick up the 3 points, and I think in this game we are just going to completely dominate them. Norwich have yet to actually win in the league so far, only drawing 2 and losing 6 of their 8 games. Norwich concede an average of 2 goals a game, and Chelsea scoring an average of 2 goals a game, and I'm going to use those statistics to hopefully get a correct score here, and I'm going to go for 2-0 to Chelsea. We've won our last 4 games against Norwich, and I can only see it going the same way in this fixture. I think the likely absence of Lukaku and Werner, while shit for my fantasy team, I don't think is going to hurt us too much when we've got the capable replacements of the likes of Havertz who can easily fill in and perform well enough to help us get the 3 points. Norwich have looked so flat all season, and with how well Chelsea have been performing, I can only see it going one way, which is why I'm going for a Chelsea win. The first 3 o'clock kickoff on the Saturday is Crystal Palace at home to Newcastle. This will be Newcastle's first game without Steve Bruce, and I do feel sorry for him because ultimately Newcastle were not playing well, they weren't getting the results, and I can understand why they've chosen to part with him. With that being said, however, no one deserves the kind of stick that Steve Bruce got, and I do feel very sorry for him. I loved Alan Saint-Maximin's parting message to him on Twitter. I thought that was a touch of class and very nice to see, but it really puts a stamp on the new owner's reign at the club, and this is the beginning of a new era for Newcastle. Crystal Palace, on the other hand, are going to feel very hard done by for not managing to hold on to the win against Arsenal, and they'll be fire in their bellies to try and rectify that and get the 3 points in this game. Newcastle, another team that have yet to win this season, and I think that the misery is going to continue. I think Crystal Palace have actually surprised me with how good that they've looked this season, and I think that they are going to win this game. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Crystal Palace in this game. Newcastle have definitely got the quality to potentially grab a goal, but I do like the way that Crystal Palace set up defensively, and I think that they have the potential to frustrate Newcastle in this game, which is why I'm going to go for a straight 2-0 win to Crystal Palace. Up next, we've got Everton at home to Watford, and this should be a very good game. Watford ultimately need points if they want to stay up in the league this season, and I think it's going to be really difficult for them to do so away at Everton. As I keep saying week in, week out, Everton are blowing the Premier League away in terms of how well they're performing compared to how people thought that they would be at the start of the season. However, rumours of an alleged injury to Decore, leaving him out for the rest of the season, alongside the continued absence of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, isn't helping them. I think the obvious answer to who's going to win this game would be Everton, but I do think that Watford Watford have the potential to throw a spanner in the works. In fact, I'm going to go for a Watford win. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Watford. I think there's going to be quite a few goals in this Premier League game week, especially in this fixture, and I think that Watford are going to have enough in this game to steal an unexpected 3 points. Up next, we've got Leeds at home to Wolves. Am I going to keep falling for the same trap and back Leeds to get a win, or am I going to learn my lesson and know that they're shit? Let's find out. After a disappointing start to the season, Wolves have managed to pick up some good form, winning their last 3 games in the Premier League so far. Leeds, on the other hand, have still only won 1 game, which was a 1-0 win against Watford. And this is a period of the season now where they really should be picking up points. They should have picked up points against Southampton, a team that they're better than. However, in that game, they clearly were missing the absences of Patrick Bamford, Calvin Phillips and Rafinha, for example. This game, though, those players should hopefully be back in the starting 11, and this will be a very exciting fixture. I'm not going to go for a Leeds win this time because I like the way that Wolves have been playing of late. They've been playing a lot more exciting attacking football, and I don't actually think there's going to be a lot of goals in this one, despite how many Leeds games are flooded with goals. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I'm tempted to go for a Wolves win, but I do still back Leeds. There's a continued part of me that thinks that they can do it and that they will turn their form around this season. I think the Wolves are in too good a form for them to come and completely upset the party and beat them, but I do think they've definitely got the ability to take at least 1 point. Up next, we have got Southampton at home to Burnley. Two teams that have just looked so flat this season, with Southampton picking up the only win between the two sides in their last game against Leeds. I think the real question for this game is, can Southampton's youth beat the experience of Burnley? In the two teams' last 5 meetings between each other in the league, Southampton won the last 2, Burnley winning the last 2 before that, and then the two teams drawing, so it is a very even playing field. It's a bit of a tricky fixture to call this because both teams just haven't looked good enough. Neither team is jumping out at me and saying he's going to steal the show or he's going to win the game for either side. Out of the two teams, I think Southampton probably look the more exciting out of the two flat teams. So I am going to go for a Southampton win. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win. I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in this one, but I think Southampton have just about got the ability to edge this game. Now, the late kickoff on Saturday is Brighton and Hove Albion at home to Manchester City. This is a great fixture. The attacking capabilities of Manchester City taking on the robust defence of Brighton is going to be a very exciting matchup. Manchester City have won 4 out of their last 5 games between them and Brighton. However, Brighton actually won the last game that these two played against each other, 3-2. Brighton have been a different team to the team that they were last season and find themselves in 4th place due to their good form. This is a massive test for them though, and I do think that it's going to be very difficult for them to get anything out of this game. With that being said though, Brighton have been very good at picking up points that they haven't really been completely at the races in. Manchester City, on the other hand, when they're not quite up to scratch, still find a way to pick up points. However, that 0-0 draw with Southampton is still fresh in my memory. I'm actually going to go for a draw in this game, and I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw. I know that is very out there, but if it comes off, it could be limbs. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate the fact that Manchester City have got an unbelievable plethora of talent, but I've just got a feeling that Brighton are going to upset the party, and I mean, they could potentially even win it, but I'm not going to go that far. I'm somewhat sticking my neck on the line by going for a 0-0 draw between these two teams. Moving on into the Sunday games and a first Premier League meeting between these two sides, it's Brentford versus Leicester. Leicester picking up a huge win against Manchester United in their last game, but have ultimately not looked as sharp as they did last season. Brentford, on the other hand, as I say, week in, week out, are just taking this league by storm, blowing every opposition away that they play. Obviously, they played Chelsea in their last game, and I'll be completely honest, we were very lucky to get away with all 3 points in that game. If it wasn't for Edouard Mendy, then I do think that we could have sacrificed the win for a draw, maybe even a loss. I'm personally very excited to actually see what happens in this game, and it's difficult to predict between the two sides. Patson Daka obviously had a great midweek game in the Europa League against Spartak Moscow, scoring all 4 goals for Leicester. Can he translate that into the Premier League? I'm not quite sure against such a side like Brentford. I'm going to stop waffling and I'm going to get into my score prediction. I'm actually going to go for a 2-1 win to the Bees. I think that Brentford are going to win this game and shock Leicester. Yes, it was a very impressive win for Leicester in their last game, but Brentford are just on fire at the moment. And that hurt that they suffered against Chelsea, I don't think it's going to get them down for long. I think they're going to get straight back up and running, and I think they are going to win this game. The penultimate game we're going to focus on in this video is West Ham United at home to Tottenham, a London derby that provided a hell of a lot of spice last season. West Ham won the last game against Tottenham in the league, however the game before that was that infamous 3-3 draw with that last minute equaliser from Lanzini, which was essentially one of the final nails in the coffin for Jose Mourinho at the time. After a strong start from Tottenham results wise, they find themselves in 5th place after a slight drop off. With that being said, however, they have won their last 2 games, albeit relatively unconvincingly. However, that doesn't matter when you're picking up 3 points. West Ham, on the other hand, have still looked very impressive and a force to be reckoned with in the games that they've played this season. However, their results have been a little bit more patchy and inconsistent, which makes this game a little hard to predict. I think Harry Kane looked good in Tottenham's last game, and so did Son. Their link-up play was back to almost close to its best, albeit it against a very poor Newcastle side. However, I think that confidence is going to spur them on, pardon the pun, in this fixture, and I think that they are going to take all 3 points. Maybe on the contrary to what a lot of other people are predicting for this game. However, I am going to go for a 2-1 win to Tottenham in this London derby. Sorry, West Ham fans, because I do believe that you have got the potential to get all 3 points from this game, and it is ultimately very likely. However, I've just got a feeling that Tottenham are going to be too much, and they are going to turn it on in this game, and it's just going to be one of those games. Now, the big one. We've got Manchester United at home to Liverpool. This is the biggest game of the game week by far. After being 2-0 down in the Champions League midweek, Manchester United managed to beat Atalanta 3-2, which is going to do wonders for their confidence. As it keeps being said online, Manchester United's attacking play is very impressive. They've got a lot of options to go for when constructing attacks. However, their defensive structure is what's letting them down, and I don't believe that's reflective on the players. It's obviously down to the manager and the way he sets up the team. Liverpool, on the other hand, were 2-0 up and then threw it away for a 2-2 draw, with Mo Salah scoring a late penalty to win the game. So both sides won their European fixtures. Liverpool have looked absolutely flawless this season, and that man Mo Salah has been exceptional. Manchester United have been a bit like West Ham, just very patchy. They have some impressive games, some impressive results, and then it all just goes downhill. Ultimately, there are a lot of Manchester United fans online who are calling for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's head, and usually this is the time when he starts to turn it on. And listen, I'm going to put my neck on the line for this one, and I'm going to say that it's going to be a 1-1 draw. However, before the Liverpool fans start commenting, they're not commenting, calling me a bellend, I do just want to say that you guys should win this game. Like, ultimately, everything is pointing at you guys to win. However, it's just what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does. Is when his neck is on the line, that's when he starts getting these fluky results. With that being said though, guys, that does round up our weekly predictions video. Let me know what you think of my predictions below. If you think I've been a dick with any of them, feel free to let me know. Just do it nicely. And please, 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 please comment your predictions. I don't like doing this. It's degrading. Do you like degrading me? Maybe you do. That's a weird question. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. As I said, please comment your predictions down below. Like if you've enjoyed the video, and subscribe so you don't miss any more. We've got FIFA videos, football vlogs. We've got the lot. Take care, guys. See you in the next one. Peace and love.